Afternoon, everyone. Hopefully this will all go to plan. Bit of background on me, for those who don't know. So I originally started my ag journey in the Pilbara on a cattle station, and we bought the property at Boyup Brook, which is about 3 hours southwards of Perth. We don't know it. Always had been very interested in Peter Andrews and natural sequence farming. And that's what really drew me to the Mulleen Institute, which, for those who don't know, based in New South Wales, doing some amazing work with landscape rehydration. We kicked the project off in 2022, and Lance has basically overseen it. So we're 3 years in. I couldn't be happier with the change that we're seeing on our farm. I've always loved my land, but I don't think we were loving our land. And now I feel like we're loving our land. So it's starting to regenerate. Our bush areas are looking better. We're getting biodiversity coming back. And we're only 3 years in. So what I can't wait to see is what it looks like in another 10, 20 years.
The rainfall patterns are quite different now. We've had declining rainfall, particularly in the southwest of WA. And that can be, you can see that's a lot of that's in the winter rainfall, and then as you can see here, we've got a degraded landscape or not functioning landscape, and the water just goes see you later down the bottom of the gully. So the first thing we would do is we actually started doing contour banks. So I'm going to put one in.
The contours that we put in are dead level, so we're not actually taking water anywhere. All we're doing is holding water higher back in the landscape. We're on probably the biggest bauxite deposit in the world, and so lots of aluminium, iron toxicity. So what we'd done when we took all these trees out of the landscape, all those heavy metals are leaching out, leaching down through our soil profile, leaching into our waterways, basically turning all of our waterways into a sewer. So, you know, I'm sure Oral would completely understand this in terms of what we've done for the landscape by taking all that vegetation off. So all this vegetation that grew up on tops of the hills, or your marri and your jarrah and your wandoo, and they grow in soils that have high aluminium and iron content. But a lot of the stuff down in the bottoms, all the flooded gums and that sort of thing, they don't, because all of that stuff was getting held up in the top of the landscape. So all these waterways are being exposed to these heavy metals that they never used to. We really divided the farm into 3 zones. So the recharge zone up the top, what we call our ag zone in the middle, and then the protected zone, which is our creeks down the bottom. In 2022, we installed the contour banks, and then we put the first tree plantings in on the tops of the ridges in July 2022. And we've come through probably 2 of the driest summers that we've had in that period. And I actually thought we did 2 plantings, 1 lot in 2022, 1 lot in 2023. Prior to that horrible summer we had 23, 24, and I thought we were going to lose the majority of that planting. Like it was, I mean, for those that were in WA would remember. But amazingly, probably 80 to 90% of survived. Like, it just shows you the resilience of the landscape if you give it a chance. It's like, get out of the road and let nature do its thing.
So bits of towel representing our trees, bits of sheet, or whatever it is, representing perennial pastures. So basically reintroducing perennial plants back into the landscape. The contour banks to try and redistribute water in the landscape, and so they infiltrate water so that it don't go into the clay, infiltration right along it, but also spill out on a ridge, so water will spill out and stay shallow and not be erosive, and that means that it can also infiltrate and go slowly. But the key thing is that restoring the natural function, so the perennial plants building the soil biology that then provide all those functions.
So the tree planting in area is about 35 hectares. So we've taken out what you would call 35 hectares of our productive land and put it into trees. But the benefits that we are starting to see and that we'll see in the long term will far outweigh that 35 hectares that we've taken out of productive, say, pasture or cropping land. And I think, you know, there's very good evidence to show now that strategic tree planting shelter belts can dramatically increase the productivity of the remaining land. So, and we do have a carbon project over it as well. First conversation I had with our bank manager when I told him we were going to do this was, what's it going to do to the productivity of your farm? The wheels turned on that, and we're now actually being used as a test case by our bank to show you what you can do by planting trees and doing a carbon project. The world's changed, and that's only sort of, you know, 5, 6, 7 years.
We have seen some slight changes in water quality in the creek line, and we've seen some slight changes in bricks. In particular, the bricks of weeds is reduced compared to the bricks of the pasture, which is a good sign, indicating that the pasture is actually more dynamic than the weeds, and the weeds are starting to feed out of the system.
My neighbours look over the fence and think, what's that weirdo doing now? Because I've been doing some weird stuff for a while. But interestingly, they can see the change that's happening. So they're becoming interested in what we're doing. And yeah, I think, yeah, the wheel is turning. Probably 5 years ago, prior to implementing this project, I was pretty much ready to give farming away. I'm now at the point where I love getting up every morning, going out there and talking to the cows. And particularly the last couple of summers, just having something actually growing rather than being bloody dead during summer is, I think from a mental health perspective, is really important. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.